You never finish what you start. You ever notice this pattern? You start something new, a project, a habit, a goal. You feel excited, locked in, motivated, and then, a few days later, it's gone. The notebook is empty. The app is unopened. The idea is something you'll get back to. And the worst part? You tell yourself, I just don't have discipline. But what if I told you that's not the real reason you never finish what you start? Because the shocking truth is this: you don't quit because you're lazy. You quit because your brain thinks you already won. That sounds crazy. Let me explain. Think about the last thing you were excited to start. Studying seriously, a YouTube channel, working out, learning a skill. Before you even began, you imagined the result. You saw yourself being consistent, getting praise, feeling proud, finally being that person. And your brain? It doesn't know the difference between imagined reward and earned reward. So the moment you get excited, the moment you plan, the moment you tell someone about it, your brain releases dopamine. Not when you do the work, not when you finish, but when you think about finishing. And here's the trap. Once your brain feels rewarded, urgency dies. That's why motivation crashes after day one. And this hits students and creators the hardest. You plan your week, you make a perfect timetable, you watch productivity videos, you feel productive without producing anything. Then real work shows up. It's boring, uncomfortable, slow, and your brain goes, wait, why are we doing this? We already felt good. So you stop. But stay with me, because the fix is simple, and it's not try harder. Here's the micro cliffhanger. The problem isn't starting, it's starting too big. Let's break it down. Most people don't fail because they can't do hard things. They fail because they expect clarity before action. You tell yourself, I'll start when I feel ready. I'll be consistent once I'm motivated. I need the perfect plan. But clarity doesn't come before action. It comes from action. That's why you can binge a show for 6 hours but can't focus for 20 minutes on your own goal. No resistance. Instant reward. No identity risk. Now here's the uncomfortable truth. Every time you start something and don't finish, your brain updates your identity. It quietly says, oh, we're the type of person who doesn't follow through. That's why each new attempt feels heavier. Not because you're worse, but because you're carrying proof from the past. But here's the relief part. You don't need a comeback story. You don't need motivation. You don't need discipline. You need a smaller finish line. Most people set finish lines that are too far away to emotionally reach. Get fit, grow a channel, fix my life, become disciplined. Your brain can't feel progress toward vague goals, so it quits. Instead, do this. Make the finish line stupidly small, almost embarrassing. Not study for 3 hours, but open the book and read 1 page. Not upload consistently, but write 1 sentence for a script. Not wake up at 5 a.m., but put my phone on the other side of the room. Here's why this works, and this is important. Your brain only needs proof of completion, not proof of greatness. Completion builds identity. Identity builds consistency. Consistency builds results. Motivation comes after that. Now let me give you a real-life example. A student says, I can't focus, I'm burnt out. But what they're really burnt out from is constantly failing imaginary expectations. So they try this instead. They sit down, set a 5-minute timer, tell themselves, I'm allowed to stop when it ends. Most of the time, they don't stop. Not because they forced discipline, but because starting removed the friction. And even if they do stop, they still won, because they finished what they promised. That's the secret most productivity advice ignores. Your brain trusts finished promises. It ignores broken ones. Another micro cliffhanger. This one changes everything. Stop telling people your goals. I know it feels good to say it out loud, but when you announce goals early, you steal the reward before the work. Silence pressure builds focus. That's why some of your biggest wins happened quietly. No announcements, no aesthetic planning, just action. Now let's talk to creators for a second. If you've ever said, I'll post when I'm consistent, you've already lost. Consistency is built by posting when you don't feel ready. Your first videos aren't supposed to be good. They're supposed to be done. Finished beats perfect every single time. So here's the system. Simple, practical, doable. Tonight, pick one thing you keep quitting. Just one.
Shrink it until it feels almost too easy. Then make one rule. You are not allowed to do more than the minimum. Read one page, write one sentence, edit for 5 minutes. Stop while it still feels easy. That's how you trick your brain into wanting more tomorrow. Because the goal isn't intensity, it's returning. And the people who finish things, they're not special. They just learned how to make starting painless and finishing inevitable. So if this video felt uncomfortably accurate, good. That means you're close. Try this tonight. Not tomorrow, not next week. Shrink the goal. Finish the promise. Build the identity, and let's level up together.